Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the one, the only, the original Midnight's Edge After Dark. I am Tom Connors. With me is Script Doctor. How you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing amazing. We also have our co-executive producer. Is that the title? I don't remember what title I gave you. Something like executive producer-ish.
That works for
something.
me.
Tom Wrangler.
Thumb Wrangler? What?
No, Tom Wrangler.
Oh, Tom Wrangler. Yes, this is true. Thumb Wrangler. I don't get that one.
Tom's Wranglers.
I am the champion of the Thumb Wars.
And this is why there's 6 of her. 6.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm doing really well tonight. How are you?
Oh, we're here. And we also have the one, the only Bortis, or Clavius.
Yes.
One of the-
Thank you,
He's
Captain.
taking
I'm
up
quite well.
smoking.
Yes, I'm taking up smoking, Captain. Thank you.
Oh, look who's here. And I'm going to send you a link if you're not busy, because that is perfect timing, because we're going to talk
Yes.
about The Verdict.
You made the movie with Paul Newman?
No,
Good movie.
but no, the Umbrella Man is here, aka that Umbrella Guy, who's
Hello,
made
everybody.
famous by Elaine. But yeah, I want to ask you a few things, because I mean, Elaine is out there just talking shit in the press, and I'm just sitting here thinking, isn't this what Amber's countersuit was all about? Aren't they setting themselves up for another slander lawsuit here? I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of odd. But yeah, I'm gonna get to
I'm
the.
curious with regards to the conflict of interest that prohibited them from revealing the so-called evidence they made claims that they had.
Yeah.
I want to see that. I think that's valid because it might shed more light. I don't think it'll help Amber in any way, but
No.
I would like to see it so that it can be scrutinized as much as all the other evidence.
I think they're full of shit. Because that's the thing, is a lot of the, like Amber said herself, it was her lawyers who wouldn't let the evidence in, not the court. I mean,
And yet the lawyer went out and said they wouldn't let us use some evidence. I'm like, what the heck? Get the story straight, guys.
yeah, this is what I'm saying. And then they're like, yeah, his team objected to all this stuff, but we'll get into that here. He's got 10 or 15 millions, brilliant, and that's perfect. So hopefully when he gets in here, we'll get that. But let's say hello to everybody while we're waiting for Tug. We got Monster Huntress Rune Monkey, War Monkeys here, and Tug is already here. Look at that. How you doing, buddy?
Hey there, man. How's it
Hey
going?
there.
Hey,
Hi.
Hell of a birthday for me yesterday. Toby Emmerich gets fired, and then we have the verdict come in, and it's awesome.
The verdict of the century.
Right? No, you're not kidding even. It is.
Yeah, it was
It-
surprising. You know, men usually don't get a, you know,
Exactly.
you don't usually see a win like that. Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, first of all, I was watching you live, sniping your stream. I hope you don't mind, while we started my birthday stream while the verdict came
No,
down.
I'm good, man. It's all good.
So we were listening to you in Yellow, and we heard you guys celebrate. We celebrated at the same time, and it was oh, look at this. We got a Valiant Renegade joining us as well. He had to get
VR.
on this.
What's going on, bub?
But we only got you for a few minutes, Tug. So let's get your reactions. What you think's going to happen from here? What do you think of Elaine going out there and talking in the press like she is lately and everything? Curious what you're thinking about it all.
I think we definitely what we're going to see are the ramifications of a win. That's what we're going to watch. We're going to watch another chapter, but this chapter is going to be them trying to pay people back for the loss that they never expected.
Right.
You know,
Sounds very petty.
Yeah.
well, I mean, it wasn't all of this petty. You know, hey, you left me. You left me after I abused you. I'm going to make sure that I destroy your life and take everything.
And at the same
Exactly.
time try and put themselves on a platform to solidify their position within the industry in some very superficial way.
It's just amazing to look at, and if she would have been a little more convincing, man, row up a row of quarters, bash yourself in the face, planned this a little bit better,
Head
got
butted
a-
the wall, you know.
Yeah,
saw a
got a
doctor.
got a doctor that would have agreed, just somebody that she could have paid anything.
Well, it was
Paid
the wrong
and
Spiegel.
forged records.
Yeah, or she could have paid
That was the
with,
problem.
we paid with favors, or whatever.
So do you think? I mean, obviously they're going to appeal, but do you think it's a bad?
Are they
move
really though? I mean, okay, are they really going to appeal? Because if you listen to what Elaine said, she said she wants to appeal, but she said she's broke as hell. So did she?
See, that's
really
the
say?
thing.
That's what I
I
heard.
mean, you got a point there, but Elaine's out there saying some pretty salacious shit in the press. That's where I'm just like,
She
isn't this
always
what got him
has,
there in
though.
the first place, though? Like,
The thing is, though, Elaine has always been like that. It's just she's never been on anyone's radar. But if you look her name up and you look for quotes, that's the thing. That's what I thought was amazing about the countersuit aimed at Adam Waldman, because I mean they could have just gone back and forth and like a pissing match if they really wanted to do that.
yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Like, that was what the whole countersuit was about, and that's what she won the $2 million for, at least from my understanding. If you understood better than me at this point, what I understood was they gave that to her. I think you agree with most of us that was more of a gimme for Wonder Woman 3, but that it was more so because Walden was proven wrong on that one claim. But to me, they should have almost overlooked that, because it's like, it's not like he had that evidence at that time to know that. He was, and most of his claim was proven to be correct. So why wouldn't you?
That, I mean, she technically didn't win $2 million. It's considered like a credit against her.
I know, right? It's so fucking stupid.
Well, the only count that they found for her position was it wasn't anything Johnny Depp did. It was what Adam Waldman said.
Yeah,
I mean, Johnny Depp may be liable for it, but it's like that was the one part of the counterclaim that they actually gave her, a quote unquote win on.
And I believe it was the third quote, which was the one where he said they roughed the place up and called the cops again, which that's the only thing they actually had some solid evidence on, is that they didn't call the police. Her one friend did, like earlier or whatever. That's why the cops called and came in twice. And that's really all they had. And that's, to me, what I understood, unless somebody else got it differently than me. But I believe that, like, a few people have posited that there was one or two members on that team that just weren't going to walk out of that room without Amber getting something, because they felt whatever. And they're like, okay, we want to go home here. Right at this point, like, everybody agreed on just about every other count. But that's my assumption too. Of course, I'm just assuming, but yeah, I don't know. I saw you showed a video of somebody who was a supposed juror. Was it yesterday or earlier today? I can't remember anymore. My sleep schedule.
Yeah, again, that hasn't been verified or anything, so I can't.
Right, but because you could have made those quotes just by listening to some of you guys, right? That's the only thing with that guy's claims, but he didn't really give us anything that seemed like it was new.
No, and if I were a juror, to be honest, I would think any of the jurors would be smart enough to know that they have a meal ticket. I mean, a hell of a meal ticket if they wanted to go out there and, if they wanted to make a statement. Because if you make a statement and they hear you, I mean, they can.
Well, even, I mean, they're even trying to claim that the jury was like online and stuff like that. I mean, isn't that kind of out of line?
I personally, if they want to complain about the jury knowing what happened, Amber Heard herself said, everyone in the world is mocking me. She said that. So she brought up outside. They brought up all the trending hashtags. They brought up, they brought up Amber Turd and all of that. They brought it into the courtroom. And then Elaine, in closing, again brought up social media. So, the only person they need to beat up is themselves.
No, I agree with you there, because this whole thing is just kind of messy, if you ask me.
Do you think it's possible that one of the organizations that are against domestic violence, and particularly against women, would fund her appeal?
It's possible. I mean,
it won't be the ACLU.
Yeah. Well, I looked online to see if there was any fundraisers for her, and I found one, and they've raised a whole $175 for her.
Let me go donate a penny right now.
Well, here's how bad it is for. Right? I'm going to bring up the change.org petition to have her replaced.
For what, Aquaman?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is hilarious, because I had to get it for the video that's uploading for Andre right now.
They already got their wish for Aquaman 2.
Or I mean, Aquaman 3 or whatever it is, or was it Aquaman 2? Whichever one it is, the change.org.
Well, Aquaman 2 is what they want her out of, and there's not been any movement on that yet on Warner Brothers' side, but I'm pretty sure with this verdict, they're never going to option her for any future films with Aquaman.
She's out, man. She's
Yeah.
She's out.
And actually,
now with Zaslav around,
I was gonna say we put it in our video because we've heard it now from a couple different places that they're thinking about changing that. But this is why I think we're getting a bunch of Ezra news, and they're trying to distract us with it. But it's going up. Look, almost by the second. Look at that.
I can't even read that. Too small.
Okay, well, I'll zoom in, but
4.5 million and counting.
Yeah, it just goes up by the second. Here's a little counter here for you guys to see it.
She's out though, because I mean, you got to think they drug Walter Hamada in to that, and then they called him a liar. I mean, come on, you can call the president of fucking DC Films a liar, and he's not going to be vindictive in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, sure, I got
the rate this is
That's
going.
Not what he was lying about. That's the thing. Like, I don't think he was lying necessarily about Amber. There's just other things he was lying about, like his own qualifications and understanding of what was communicated to him by James Wan and the editor.
Well,
James Wan hasn't come out in her defense or anything, so.
No, he has nothing to say.
Yeah,
Momoa didn't either. In fact, if again with him, deciding to follow Johnny Depp on Instagram and then not unfollow him when she got up on the stand, I think that's a pretty loud.
I guess somebody said that he did like her.
He liked both, actually. So
yeah, so
I think he walks the corporate line. Jason Momoa has always been smart about walking the corporate line.
Maybe it's the lazy eye. He can't see what the other one's doing. Oh, sorry.
That
was me.
I think it's most of the Warner side. If you look up all their Instagram accounts, almost all of them have unfollowed Amber Heard too. That's a pretty strong statement when accounts that still follow Ray Fisher are unfollowing Amber Heard.
Yeah, that's not good. But where do you think it goes from here if it doesn't go to appeal court? I mean, you think she does anything else? The court in Australia, you think?
Oh, well, Adam Waldman's making some strong perjury, suggestions here. I mean, he's been he's been on social media, and I feel like he's hinting to perjury. Is what he's trying to say. And then on top of that, Australia. So from what I've heard, again, Australia has to make the final decision on this, but they've been geared and ready to go. I mean, they were waiting on a decision. They've already finalized their investigation. They've found enough stuff to hold, for her on perjury. And then she started making fun of what's his name, Barnaby Joyce. She made fun of him forever. I know he's not the number one man anymore, but they got replaced after all of the chaos there. But still, politicians are usually pretty vindictive.
Yep.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing that they're probably gonna reshoot with another actress for Aquaman 2, but we'll see.
I've been hearing I heard that. I heard that her whole part of the stipulation to get her in was her promising not to bring Warner Brothers and Aquaman into the courtroom, and she brought it in right away with the countersuit, which was already a problem. They thought they could, what they tried to do to counter that is they had Johnny Depp, and he initially agreed to this. Actually, he initially agreed not to bring up Warner or Aquaman 2 in anything, including the counterclaim. He wasn't going to bring it up, which is crazy when you think about it, because why would you ever agree to that? I mean, it's a big part of it. But then Warner Brothers said something. No, I'm sorry. They put it in an exchange. There was something in a letter about her agent was told why they didn't want her. That there was a artistic conflict or something like that, and they followed up on it. They told Warner Brothers, "Hey, we're gonna have to subpoena somebody," and they were like, "No, we'll throw her under the bus for you." So their document on that. Did you ever look at that? Did you look at their motion to quash? Did you ever see all the shit they said about her?
No, I didn't.
You talking about Warner's motion?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
Oh yeah, here, check this out. So this is where they basically threw. This was they were trying to quash the. Give me 1 second. They were trying to quash the subpoena to bring them in. So they Oops, sorry, the wrong document. Give me a second. That's the wrong one. I've got 5 or 6 open. Jesus, I need to.
No worries, man. You have been, dude. This has got to be like.
Really
I mean, I got to imagine for you, especially after yesterday with the rush of that, like, how many years you've been dealing with this and going through this and all this stuff. So
I got so many. Here we go. This is the right one though.
It's understandable if you don't get everything right the first time.
There's like a million documents out here. So Warner, again, they were told that they would they'd have to be brought in, and they're like, yeah, okay, we'll tell you everything, so we don't have to come in, and they were still forced to come in. So through here, after you get through they're going to bring her up. Miss Heard did not suffer any adverse employment actions by Warner Brothers in connection with Aquaman or Aquaman 2 because of the allegedly defamatory statements by JD or Adam Waldman that are alleged in her counterclaim. Her compensation was not reduced for either movie because of the counterclaim statement. Any alleged delay in picking up her for Aquaman 2 was due to creative issues in casting her in the role of Mira for Aquaman 2, which was communicated to her agent at the time. Any alleged delays in Warner Brothers picking her up for Aquaman 2 was not due to the dispute with JD or any allegations in the lawsuit. And my favorite, Warner Brothers would not have paid her any more money, even if she would have attempted to renegotiate her contract. So, they
that should have lost her counterclaim right there, and
that
that's
tells
the
me
only
there was
thing.
a holdout.
That's what I'm thinking too, because and the $2 million is just seems like a gimme amount, like. That's the amount she got
people
paid
didn't
for
fill it in. That was the thing that they didn't fill in. They were like, whatever, we'll give her, this, we'll give her this bone, so you'll let us out of here, because it took so long to bring it in after that entire first day, especially knowing the decision. Now, I mean, they swept the board. They believed Johnny Depp all the way through. So that tells me the only way that they had that was they had a holdout.
And that's what struck me about the count on her counterclaim that they picked to award her was nothing that Johnny Depp himself did. It was what Waldman did. It was like, here, we'll throw this one away.
Which is one that I said they couldn't even, like, I'm really even curious how they found on that one, because it was the one, I believe, the statement that I said before. And it's like, he didn't know that, and he had every reason to believe that. So even if you do consider that salacious, doesn't really fucking matter, because it's all null and void by Warner Brothers' statement, because that's what they're trying to claim, is that those statements are the problem. So
well, that's irrelevant, because Johnny Depp's not the person that made it, and her doing a counterclaim to his lawyer and doing it by way through Johnny Depp seems to violate a certain concept of
that's an argument they made
of litigation with regards to suing. It's like, if I have a lawyer and they say something that I did not convey to them to say or do anything to do, they are solely responsible for that. And if a person tries to sue me because they're my lawyer for that lawyer saying that, I'm not responsible for my counsel saying things of their own accord, just as I'm not responsible for anyone else saying things of their own accord. There's a level of disassociation there, and the fact that that counterclaim was allowed to go and be filed in that manner against Johnny Depp for something that one of his representatives said on their own auspices, on their own accord, just boggles the mind. If I was a judge, I've known judges that have thrown out claims like that. It's like, why are you suing this person for this? They didn't say that, or they didn't do that.
They kind of made that
argument. File a lawsuit for that, and the fact the judge didn't do that was weird.
I'd just like to know, like, what the problem with this statement is really. Quite simply, this was, I may misquote a couple of words, okay? just to say, quite simply, this was an ambush, a hoax. They set Mr. Depp up by calling the cops, but the first attempt didn't do the trick. The officers came to the penthouse, thoroughly searched and interviewed, and left after seeing no damage to face or property. So Amber and her friends spilled a little wine. They roughed the place up, got their story straight under the direction of a lawyer and a publicist, and then placed a second call to 911. Her friend did indeed call 911.
Yes.
Io Tillett was the one who called first and second time. I think
that they're getting it because somebody argued that they had evidence that, or at least that they didn't call, and it was a friend, and it was a whole other situation or whatever. They had enough evidence to support that, and they don't have any evidence that they roughed the place up and spilled wine and all that stuff.
I would say that what they do have evidence of is the phone call, but basically any proof to say that they contacted a lawyer or that they did so under the guise of getting a story straight. That's kind of like speculative and conjecture.
That's exactly what I was getting to.
She said, I called my entertainment lawyer, and the first person that she called, entertainment lawyer, and her publicist who was supposed to testify in the trial, but she dodged subpoena. She actually, all these people were represented by the same lawyers that we saw. Like, that's why there's been this conjecture about, oh, there's an insurance claim that's paying all this stuff. Okay, well, the problem with that for me is however this is being paid is also paying for the witnesses, because those witnesses are broke as hell, and Amber's broke as hell, but they all have the same law team. So yeah, no, it's not an insurance. There's got to be somebody paying money. Well,
there'd have to be
mollusk.
Yeah. So this guy,
don't think that she owns any property valuable enough to afford the level of insurance to cover those cases.
She said she threw out the term, she threw out for this trial, she said $6 million. And I know she's probably not including anything like PR teams or any hirings, but her publicist was in communication with, there's the main lawyers and the secondary lawyers. She's represented by a secondary lawyer and was in connection with the main lawyers for Amber's team. And she ended up dodging the subpoena for LA, but said that she would come in. And Johnny Depp's team quite accurately was like, hell no, you violated the law. You are not coming in here and you're not testifying. You can sit with us because, again, you're in violation of law. So she ended up getting booted. I'm guessing for that. We didn't get an answer for why that was, but she went from on the witness list to bam. And they were quite right in that. She never sat. So she did dodge her subpoena, and it looked like under the direction of Amber Heard's team.
Well, this whole insurance thing has been driving me nuts for weeks. I don't think people really understand how that works, because it doesn't work the way people seem to be thinking it works in terms of them paying.
Is it supposed to work if you lose a settlement, you put a lien on your house and the insurance covers it that way?
Okay.
I don't know, but I know that people are pointing out
property in LA ever.
This is
homeowners insurance. Let me specify, and I've been in the insurance game for almost 20 years.
Does she actually own a house though? I think she just has that one apartment.
That's what that is what I don't know. I don't have an answer to that question. But yes, you'd have to have. She could have a homeowner's policy, but people need to understand about homeowners policies. The type of liability coverage that homeowners policies typically entail, okay, is personal injury. So if somebody comes on your property and something happens, or if something along those lines, then that is going to fall under the level of coverage. Now, at no point are these things going to spend, $6 million for legal defense at that point. And
right.
Defamation is one of those things that really is a massive gray area. It doesn't fall into that. This is why people have, and here comes a hilarious pun, personal liability umbrellas, okay? Or personal liability umbrella guys. But what you do is, if you buy a homeowner's policy from, say, Farm Bureau or Allstate or whatever your homeowner's policy is, you can tack on, oftentimes from that same company, you can pick up a personal liability umbrella that goes on top of that. So if you were to breach the limits of your homeowner's policy or breach the limits of your automotive coverage or anything else, that personal liability umbrella would then cover you up to X amount. Now, oftentimes the most common levels of coverage on those kind of policies is for about $1 million. Okay. But that $1 million is for a claim that would be filed against you. So let's say your homeowner's policy would give you about 300,000 of this, and then you'd have an umbrella to go above it. You're talking about, in this case, you're talking about tens of millions of dollars. You're talking about a $6 million legal defense. Y'all, it's a defamation case. This wasn't personal injury. This wasn't anything like that.
The only thing that supposedly happened on any property was the supposed actions, which, that was why I was curious. Is that possibly why she changed her fucking story, and that first case of abuse ended up happening on the orange street or orange, whatever
no, because
apartment that's hers.
It still comes down to a defamation case.
I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying, like, the whole property aspect of it and using your house. Like, I never mind. I'm like thinking a little bit.
Yeah,
no, I don't know where this rumor got started or how this idea of her.
I don't understand how unless they have like you can get insurance for getting sued for certain things, and I'm sure certain actors have, you know, get offered that quite often for certain things, for like, you know, liability for certain things in case you do get sued, I'm sure, but I highly doubt she has that because she's not really at that caliber or level to where she would be able to afford that kind of an insurance.
What I talked
about you, Tom. I'm suing you for that. I mean,
what?
No
what
shit,
I talked about previously, the only thing that would cover something like this, I mean, at least to the massive extent that this has cost, would be one of these old specialty policies by underwriters like Lloyd's of London, right? The people that originally, insured Jane Mansfield's legs and Marilyn Monroe's legs back in the day. I'm not kidding.
Tina Turner's legs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
well, that's what I'm talking about. Exactly. Yeah.
Underwriters, you know,
or stuff that's like for limited corporations or whatever, to where if they get sued for some shit.
I highly doubt that Amber had anything that sophisticated. I would be shocked.
That's what I'm saying. Not only that, that's pretty like direct. Like, are you expecting to get sued in the near future? I guess so. Like, I better get some insurance. You know, like, that's the thing. To me, it makes no fucking sense. Because yes, we know she's worth X amount. That's why I'm curious how much property she owns. Because as far as I know, I think she just has the apartment. If she has a house, that's news to me.
Yeah, so somebody else is footing this bill, or this law firm is showing this as it costs this much.
It's the mollusk. I know it.
Yeah, it costs this much to do, and they're really not charging her that much because of, let's face it, the publicity they got. That's why.
Well, and I know why Elaine's out there doing what she's doing, because Elaine knows she ain't gonna get fucking paid unless this shit gets overturned. So
exactly,
well, and also she's pretty much priming for a book. She's gonna write a book about this.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I figured everyone involved, either they would get written a blank check that'll be like Camille, and she'll probably write a book on top of it, or worst case scenario, they'll all write a book. Fucking Rottenborn. Like I maybe this is my own biased perspective, but I still like Elaine somewhat. I mean, hell, she's my biggest fan, so I mean, I can't really hate her that much. But man, I fucking hate Rottenberg. I hate that guy, man. I know he's doing his job.
When Elaine got burned by Draco Malfoy from the witness stand, that was it.
Okay. So yeah,
I cannot believe so many of these fucking Depp reporters, excuse my language, man. They're going out, and I see them talking to the media and giving interviews like law tubers, and I'm like, dude, they're setting up to come after you. They're going to call it, hate for profit. They're doing it. And so many people are just out there talking to the media like they're their pals, And it's like, Jesus, man. At least I'm not. That's why I'm,
have you gotten phone calls and shit for it, or?
Yeah, I got over a dozen requests. Like from the first time that Adam Waldman mentioned, I got a dozen requests out of that one, and my response is no, none of them. If they want to interview somebody, because most of them would be, we want to know like what drives you, what motivates you to talk about that. And my answer to that, which I will put on Twitter, I will not answer them personally back, was if they really want to ask that question, ask it of domestic abuse survivors. Why did they almost unanimously back Johnny Depp? There's your question. That's the frame of reference that they of course don't want to ask, though, because if they ask that frame of reference, they can't as easily attack domestic abuse survivors as they can those mean old YouTubers that are out there making money.
Yeah, because that's the other thing that's making the rounds now, and this is one of the ones that I love the most. So let's bring this into it, because this is one we're going to talk about anyway today, while we still got you here. The Amber Heard verdict sends a message to black women everywhere. Like, if this isn't one of the most racist fucking things I've ever heard in my life. If the mistreatment of wealthy, blonde-haired, blue-eyed white actress is ridiculed by the world, what does that mean for black women?
Oh, God.
The amount of stupid and racism in this fucking thing. I don't even want to get into this article, because it was a jury of white people. in most cases, they try to make it a jury of your peers, right? Like, how many of these cases lately against cops have they been loaded up with black people and stuff like that for a reason? Like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. Not one has nothing to do with the other to begin with. And then trying to raise this up just to try and get some kind of fucking support. Like, this to me shows how desperate Amber is for support right now. Because this is coming up everywhere. Like, we should believe her no matter what. This is a hit for the Me Too movement. This is a hit for believe all women. Now nobody's going to believe all women. This always happens for men. It's like, wait a minute here. That ain't true. In fact, most of these cases don't go in the way of the man.
Yeah. Well, no, what bothered me about that one is that article from the Rolling Stone is saying, like, men always win. Okay, so I guess men are never abused. That's what it says. It's telling you that men are always the abusers and they always walk away winners. I mean, that's fucking insulting as hell. I'm sick of that. Like that's one of the things that drew me into the Vic Mignogna case, into this case. It's advocacy, man. In my real life, that's, I work with kids until it broke a little part of my soul, I guess. I don't know how to put it. I just, work with these kids like for years and years, man. And after a while, it's like, that emotional place that you can go, that you detach. I couldn't do it anymore. It like broke it, whatever it was. So I stopped doing it. But advocacy, I mean, down in the trenches there, that's why I hate expert witnesses too, that go out and attack, like that Dr. Hughes that attack males, because man, males already, the statistics that we see for male domestic abuse survivors are as low as they are. I imagine it's like they say, I think 1 in 5, or 5 to 1 male to female. I imagine it's probably more like, it's still going to be higher for women, but it's probably like 5 to 3. Honestly.
I think I think it's actually closer to like 40% from what I read, but I don't know which statistic you're going by, but.
Well, I mean, okay, in mental health, like you don't see men that come in voluntarily.
That's the thing. Yeah, exactly.
And
we've talked about that too, where this is a problem, is we don't have an actual number. And the thing is, though, that this is what bothers me, that the media should have been picking up on, instead of like, okay, we get it. You did this wrong. You don't have to admit you were wrong, but now go with the right thing and get out there and talk about men too. Right? Like, that's what I think it should have been. Instead, they're trying to double down on their bullshit.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Why they're doubling down is because they're complicit. They
of course
are complicit, but, many of the people that were part of that, they're not just complicit in the Johnny Depp narrative. They're complicit in the social narrative. And if the social narrative falls apart, many of them would be out on their butts, because they nobody would want them around,
Right. Yeah, like, I don't know how much time we got with here, but I think a couple of these super chats are for you. So let's see if we got any here offhand.
Yeah. I rambled.
No, I noticed, and that's why I don't want to hang on to you too much longer. But he says the ACLU is the American Civil Liars Union.
Yeah. Well, the ACLU is nasty.
Oh, what was your reaction to them going to put a $80-some million fucking claim against Johnny?
86,000, I think.
86, I think it was.
Yeah. Because, what they were trying to do is
saying for like to charge him for the stuff that they did or whatever. It's
because what they did, they wouldn't cooperate with the subpoena from Virginia. He had to sue them. There's 3 courts involved here. You had LA, which we heard all the LA stuff. It came from the divorce, but New York got brought in because the ACLU, they didn't want to come off everything. And we knew it existed. The only reason we had the ACLU letters came up before them, because the personal liability attorney that she mentioned, Eric George, when he testified, she allowed him to do that. She waived attorney-client privilege, which is the stupidest mistake ever, because he told everything. She thought he would defend her. He told everything. It was amazing. It blew my mind what I managed through sources to get a hold of his declaration. Yeah, because his deposition. He didn't do a declaration, but a deposition. And oh my God, it was amazing. That's why we have all of those letters, because he saved all of the letters and everything else. And they went in, they knew that they had even more. So he sued them in New York because they were just going to drag their feet, going to drag it all the way through the trial. They lost, and they still refused to cooperate at first. The judge had to come back because they didn't want to cooperate on two things. They didn't want to turn over information, especially information about Elon Musk. And they didn't want to turn over that. The ambassadorship, they didn't want to turn over any information about that. They didn't want to answer any question, because you find out it's a for-profit title. It has nothing to do with women. And they didn't want to, they had the guy that we saw that was taped, I can't remember his name. They wanted to put a surrogate in his place. They said, well, we know that he directly talked to Amber Heard and had communications, but somebody else could tell you what's there. And they were like, no, we want the guy that talked to her and did all this shit. And it was amazing. Like the courts, they hate all their lawyers too. We didn't get this from LA, but because of LA, there was an example uploaded. They put all case examples, and in that there's the example of when they lose the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. They have to come off of all the charitable donation stuff, and it's a transcript. Okay, so for like 8 pages of that transcript, the judge, like toward the middle of it, there were 2 acts and 30 pages of this thing. It was like just about the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. 8 pages. She just balls them out. I mean, she just tears into them. And it's, oh God, it's amazing. You can tell these judges hated Amber Heard's team.
Wow. Waltman says, so from what I understand, Amber Heard doesn't have the money to pay Johnny Depp's damages. I won't be surprised if she files bankruptcy. I've been hearing she can't on a case like this.
You can't. Not in the state of Virginia. Not in this regard.
Yeah. That might have been the reason why they agreed to have it there too. Another reason anyway.
They could, they could work out something. They could, the one thing that she keeps saying she wants to do is have her story. They could probably work out an agreement where she could shut up forever and, take that in lieu of payment.
Or she could sell the rights to her story to one of those like lower tier production companies that do those made for TV films. And that could net her a few million to send back to Johnny in installments.
Lifetime presents Amber's story, her truth. Exactly.
She was never heard.
Like, she was never heard. The Amber Heard story. Hillis Mallory says, hello, Mr. Celebrity. He's talking to you, Tug. That's right. And then he also said, I'm sorry, what, to that that article.
It's been weird, man. Like
I noticed you said you got recognized by your voice even.
Yeah. I went down to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and I've had that. I had it here, and somebody posted. So we have on Facebook, there's like a community area, where people like trade and sell and talk to each other or whatever. I'm not part of it, but my wife was like, hey, did you see this thing? I posted it. And it was like, it says, does anyone know who the umbrella guy is in McMinnville? It's like, it's hilarious. People are trying to figure out who the fuck I am in this town, So that's really funny.
Which is even funnier because you've already technically been doxxed before.
Oh yeah. My name's out there. My face is out there. Although you'd have trouble. You wouldn't recognize me from any of those pictures like that. Freaking the picture. Actually, one of the pictures that got sent around wasn't me. So, I don't know who that poor person. If it was, I mean, if I knew who it was, I would probably set that straight too. Because it really people harass. There's a food channel, the first channel that had or the first rather at that had that umbrella guy, like I'm at that umbrella. It's because there's an at that umbrella guy, and people tag him into the worst shit ever. I think he quit Twitter because of me. He got tagged into one thing. He messaged me one time, and he was like, somebody's threatening to kill my kids and stuff. I was like, oh my God.
Oh shit. Yeah, because I mean, that's the thing is like she claims to have had all these threats and stuff, but you have too. So like that's
we all get threats. You know,
we normally do in general, but like I'm sure yours have just gone off the roof here in the last.
Mine are very colorful lately. You know, that's okay though. Like you know, I you know how the online is. I mean, if anybody's froggy, I live in the U.S. South. You know, I'm just on a walkabout. You know, I carry 2 handguns, so you know, if I were ever felt in danger, I would. It's not like I, you know, again, it's not like I'm not packing or anything.
We have a lot in common.
Oh, you rep those 2A rights. That's the best way to
go. Yeah, I've been a concealed carry since I was 21. Literally half my life now.
I don't even have to have we don't even have to have that anymore here. You know, it's just like
I like having it here in Louisiana only because of the reciprocity with 36 other states. So yeah.
I just like it. I was out. Well, it's funny, you know, all these people, they're big talk anyway, because I was live streaming. I announced where I'd be one day. I never put my face on camera. It's just part of what I do. You know, when I started out, it was about, you know, it's about our message. Our message is consumer advocacy. My face doesn't matter. The faces of dead presidents matter. You know, that's the only one that matters. So,
Mecca J says, Tug, do you think that with this verdict win for Johnny, you think Vic Mignogna has a chance of his appeals going through in his lawsuit?
I don't know. I don't feel good about Vic Mignogna, just to be honest. I don't feel good. I don't feel like, I feel like he got screwed because typically, you know, Depp isn't the norm. Depp was the exception.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's the thing I was trying to say earlier too.
I mean, I wish I could be like, I wish I could tell, like, I don't like selling people, you know, like a false hope. I wish I felt good about it. You know, I wish I could be like, yeah, that's going to happen, but I just don't. I don't feel good about it.
And Stephanie says, I've had women study chicks tell me men never abused. Saw my dad abused by my mom. It's a lie. And unfortunately, that's the thing is it's very underreported. And Paulie says there is help out there, but it's not widely spoken about. I'm sure that's the case. House of Trady says, Hail Midnight's Edge After Dark. Tug, is Virginia law enforceable in California? And what if she declares bankruptcy in California? I don't think that really matters, House of Trady.
No, it doesn't. It's still, no.
Yeah, she's still liable for it, or however you want to put it.
Still screwed.
Yeah. But does she have a career after this, Tug? That's the big question.
No, well, only fans.
Well...
No, dude, it's Amber Heard.
Yeah, that's her career. Mr. Tickle Trunk says, who is that masked umbrella man? He is a superhero.
We are far from over in this stuff, though. You know, the eyes of it was funny, actually. A live stream today, and I thought, well, there'll be a die down in attention. You know, I mean, it's after the trial, right? 20,000 people were still watching. I was like, holy crap, this is crazy.
As far as the future, though, Magician Sapphire says, I think what's next for Amber is using her new baby to squeeze Elon for child support. Yeah, that's the other thing everybody's talking about.
Yeah. I very much believe that's Elon Musk's baby.
That's what people are saying.
It was derogation, so you know she didn't birth it herself. So
it comes from that Jennifer Howell, you know, statement. That's where everybody gets that. So
I wouldn't be surprised in the least.
Well, she said that. Okay, the thing with the Jennifer Howell story, Jennifer Howell says that you know there's a lawsuit, and then months later, you know, down the road, bam, surrogate baby. It seems so. It was like, wow, that's really bizarre. And Elon, I mean, he was doing backflips over it. I'm telling you, like, we haven't even gotten into the surface level of Elon Musk's fingerprints on this. I know that for a fact. I know there is so much more. Not my story to tell yet, but when it's my story, baby,
can't wait to hear it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's all over. That's why I say, like, I realize, like, some of the stuff with Elon versus, free speech or whatever. Twitter is a cesspool. Like, is he better than Twitter as it is? But I guess it depends on what you talk about. But, he sold an image very well about what he is versus what he represented. And that's like most of the people we run across when we talk about this anyway.
Yeah. Well, I know Valiant's got to run here soon, and I imagine you got to check out here pretty soon too. So I don't want to keep you too much longer. We did catch up on all the super chats for you. So I want to thank you for coming in as usual, Tug, and we got to get you on the morning show soon too to talk about all this stuff with Andre and everything too. I know you'd love to dig into it.
I didn't mean to, like, if anybody's there, I didn't mean to talk over anybody.
No.
I'm running on caffeine and caffeine.
No. We want to hear everything you have to say right now, and I'm willing to take any time. You said you're going to come in for 10-15, and you've been here for 45. You can hang out as long as you want.
I got to make a video, and I'm going to surprise.
I figured you had shit to do, but yeah, because we're going to jump into some of the Warner Brothers stuff here, news that kind of springs off of the Amber Heard thing. Because there's been a little bit of talk in the media about Ezra Miller, and I think that's to cover up, Amber Heard noise. To be honest with you,
that was such a screw up. That Ezra Miller stuff was supposed to, deflect. When you look at what they did with Fantastic Beasts, they did everything they could to get that away from the trial. Because if you look, originally, they weren't going to do the premiering, the early like they did. They moved the premiere away when they found out that right after they found out that Warner Brothers was going to be deposed, because there was a decision that they would be deposed, but there was a protective order. So that motion to quash I showed you, that was denied, but they were given a protective order that limited time. So they actually had to set for 3 hours. They had to set for 2 hours for Johnny Depp's team and 1 hour for Amber Heard's team. And right after that, they went through their moves. They shifted the best they could, and then bam, the Ezra Miller bomb dropped right after that. It was freaking hilarious.
Well, the thing is like, because they're going out there now like, no, Ezra Miller's not going to be replaced. As we've been saying for a while, you can't replace him.
Yeah, you can't.
They'd have to reshoot the entire fucking movie to replace him. And almost in some cases, more than that, because he plays multiple roles. So you have that problem too. And that's what I've heard from the start. He's not being replaced, at least in this movie. But from here on out, if they bring the Flash in again, he's not going to be Ezra Miller. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. When we talk about fired, people mistake fired for replaced. Fired just means, hey, oops, where'd that guy go? Oh, he just disappeared. That's but like the
firing rarely happens in Hollywood. It's either you exercise an option or you don't. Yep. Really, there's only been like a handful of people I can think of that have been fired. That one guy from The Expanse, he was signed to a contract for the final season, but he was fired because of allegations. Right. The first actor who played Superboy was fired because he broke the morality clause and was arrested for a DUI.
John Haynes Newton.
Yeah, John Haynes Newton. That's the one. It's very, very rare for celebrities to actually be fired from a job, because in many cases, there's very short-term contracts are negotiated just to see where things are going to be going with a lot of people until they start building a plausible reputation.
Yeah, and Kareen says, thanks, Tug, for confirming what I've been saying about Elon Musk. I don't know about what part you're referring to, but yeah.
I'm guessing paying, helping.
Well, I say he can't necessarily confirm certain things, but some things he knows for sure, probably.
Yeah. I'm just guessing. I'm assuming that's what she's talking about.
There's a lot that, we didn't even have the messages from Elon Musk brought into the court, which I thought were funny. And that was one exhibit that we did see because of UK 2020. It's fascinating. The day Johnny Depp leaves, so the 21st, right? Less than 24 hours into that, we have James Franco on the elevator, which everybody knows, but a lot of people don't realize that she was on the phone messaging Elon Musk and, chatting him up, getting back into his life too.
Yeah, I think that's why they were trying to get in the trial that she knew him at a certain date, but they hadn't started dating until this date. Like, to me, the fact that they even brought that into the whole thing just tells me that she's guilty of fucking all these guys while they were together.
there was another person that testified. She didn't testify in this trial, though. Her name was Trinity Esparza.
Oh, yeah, there's all the girls and stuff, too, yeah.
Yeah, well, Trinity Esparza was, I think, front desk. I can't remember. She worked at that Eastern Columbia building, and she told a fascinating story. And I'm torn on Elon's where he sits in all of this stuff. In my gut, I think before all of this happened, I actually thought that that Elon was her next target, to be honest, because so Trinity Esparza said, let me see if I can find that statement.
Okay, I think I know who you're talking about now. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. She points the finger. She says, on the 21st, 22nd, I see her. She has no marks on her. But on like the 20, I can't remember if it was the 27th or if it was a day after. The 27th would be the day she gets the restraining order, or it's after. She says, I see her and she has marks around her neck and she has some marks on her arm. Johnny Depp's gone, but you know who's staying there? Elon Musk. I was like, ooh, And
I've already kind of theorized that she might just be into the rough stuff and she just used that shit as a catalyst for it.
Well, she had some crazy looking scars like on her arm, like big ones at one time, and they popped up, and she managed to show them off a little more prominently when Elon Musk was around. The tabloids, like they caught it. It was.
He even had those couple black eyes, didn't he?
Yep. Mm-hmm. I wonder if he was the next, and then all the Depp stuff. Again, that's all conjecture,
like
but it really looked like.
But all right, we had one more come in here for you. Tug, Amber supporter Eve Fartlow has not taken the verdict well. Well, of course she wouldn't. But the tweet she put out, you think this will encourage her and other Amber stands to go after JD supporters? Oh, they already have been.
Oh yeah.
But do you think I guess the question would be, do you think it's going to fire up even more? I think the answer is yes, but I want to hear your reaction, Tug.
It's going to get bad. It's going to get real bad, and I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, they're not just weaponizing the media is not just weaponizing. You have lawmakers talking about, that online safety bill that they're pushing and other bills. They're trying to change the law to make sure that this never happens again, because we went right around them. They never saw us coming. I love it. I love it. I hate authority and I hate the media, and I love the fact that, again, we did this, and it took years to make it work. We and I'm not saying like me, I'm talking like a lot of people, all across all social media platforms. We got together and we did it on purpose. We did this purposefully.
Well, I think it was because of you guys he won this case. Like, I think his team had so much help from your guys' reporting and finding this stuff, and
we helped build the case.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. It was you guys that did that. I mean, we did our part as far as like the movie side of things, so we didn't do anything as far as like what you guys were out there doing as far as digging up the audio tapes and talking to the people and getting stuff out there. And I think you guys helped win his case. If this would have went to court 2 years ago, I think he would have lost.
Oh yeah, for sure. He wouldn't have had the body cam footage or anything else. But Waldman put together a lot of the case, but a lot of pieces that were out there were found by just random people. It just kept going and digging, and again, every time something would come up, we put out news, and it's amazing how far.
And that's the thing is, you guys even helped support the case with things they didn't have. So. Like, I don't know if you guys were finding it too late or if they just weren't able to get it admitted. Like that one tape that you had is, I can understand why that probably wasn't, because you can't understand half of what's being said, but it's clearly when they're looking for the finger.
I don't know why that. I know certain parts couldn't get in, but I actually don't know why they didn't use certain portions, because they did use the, when he's yelling and he's like, I'm sick of what, you make me think of myself, or however he says that. They use that, but that was her team, but he didn't introduce any of that. And I usually don't go all the way back into that. I play it from a certain part, but the doctor that's there, he literally says she chopped it off.
Yeah, there's that part too. Yeah, I remember you playing it that one night, and I'm like, God, I can't believe this all isn't in the case, but I can see why some of it, because you can't
Yeah,
it's kind of left up to interpretation to a point, because you can't necessarily, although you could probably take it and remove some of the background noise and stuff, but then they would probably argue that, oh, they manipulated it, and it would just go, to a point, I suppose. But no, that to me was one of the more damning pieces of audio evidence you had. But yeah,
well, I have a theory on why all that happened, but maybe one day I'll say it with evidence.
Right.
I have
well, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, all roads lead back to Mr. Muskie. That's what I would say.
VR's eating toes.
You know what? If I said all this stuff when I started talking about this case, people were like, "This conspiracy, it's crazy. No way all this shit happened. No way the most power like ACLU plotted with this person to do it." Bam! It's all real. It was there. It was all there. And it's insane.
The vindication, I'm sure, has been very relieving. VR's toes eating fixation says, how many toes have you eaten today, VR?
Who the hell is this guy?
I don't know, but you're talking about eating toes, I guess.
No, I don't know.
I think I know who it is. I have a good idea who he is.
I had my suspicions, but
I have my suspicions how fat he is.
Oh God!
Oh yeah, we know that is now.
Well, here's the thing: if he's managed to actually, dip in with an,
and if it's not him, it's one other person possibly.
It's a foreign currency, right? So that's the issue. That's like,
well, it could be. That's true. You got a point there.
Oh. Foreign currency is what's throwing me off. I mean, that was my first thing. I said, "Oh, it's Steven."
It could be, but it could be another person too. I think 6 might be right in the private chat. Nikki D says,
"Toes, that's weird, man." What's
I know that's from the whole
no idea
Army Hammer thing. Nikki D says, "I'm a PNC underwriter in Florida. Liability coverage on HO policies. Don't cover intentional torts, wrongful acts. The action must be negligent. Also, the insurance company picks the lawyers, see?
Exactly.
To represent you, not the other way around. Amber kept hiring and firing her lawyers, so chances are that the insurance company is not paying for this suit." Well, that's good to know from somebody who actually would be in the know. Thank you for that, Nikki D.
I mean, that's the issue. That's what I was getting at. Y'all are looking at a legal defense on a defamation case, not a personal injury or anything like that. Mm-hmm. That's a very different ball game, and the cost of this over 3 years. If this had really been covered by insurance, that insurance company would have just thrown money at Johnny Depp in the beginning to just walk away from this with a settlement. Yeah. There's no way they would have gone through with a multi-million-dollar defense for this level of bullshit. And
sorry about that. I was muted. Green says, notice he came out on Twitter saying that both good people under Lex Fridman tweet after he colluded with that biatch. Lex Fridman was the computer scientist, right?
I don't remember.
He's a podcaster. I'm trying to figure out who he is. Johnny Depp wins. I hope this sends a strong message to companies and media not to rush to judgment. Okay, that's what he said. Was that the one you're talking about? I believe, Kareen?
He was a computer scientist?
That's what it says here.
Oh. Somebody sent me a thing and I turned it on. I was like, I thought it was a document. It was a fucking ticket.
No worries. Yeah, he posted something saying Johnny Depp wins. I hope this sends a strong message to companies and the media not to rush to judgment. And then notice he came out on Twitter saying that. They both. Okay, I don't know about that. I don't see the good people part, but that must be a different tweet.
Oh, for Elon Musk, yeah.
He's host of a podcast. He's a research scientist. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he made a statement about both of them. At their best, they're both good people or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. I can't say that she's a completely, she's had her moments where she's done good things, I'm sure. I mean, nobody's completely 100% evil. And that's the thing, is there's still a part of me that believes that she's doing certain things, but at the same time, there's no way, right? Like the story that she claims happened over those 3 days and such, that I don't buy at all.
He said at their best, they're both incredible. That's what he said.
Yeah, see, and then another thing is, like I said, I would believe more that she's possibly into the rough stuff, and then she's trying to use that against
Well,
Johnny
you had
MEAD.
that. What was her name? Cara Dev, whatever that actress. You know,
Delevingne.
yeah. That they definitely. Well, again, they had to trim that out of the trial, but Amber Heard and Elon Musk were having threesomes with, so they definitely had their sex games, and yeah, she has she's got to have leverage of some type. And the thing that bothers me about the baby thing, he has an army of kids. Like, why would that? I mean, again, maybe it's a soul sucking vampire that he's scared of having his kid. I'm not sure, but you can't tell me with all those kids he's really scared of it.
Yeah, I don't know. Will be interesting to see what happens. I mean, even because if it's surrogate and all that kind of shit, I'm sure she signed away any possible, right to go after anybody. So, as far as the child is concerned, if she's going to be a single parent of it, or if she's having it with her, because isn't she remarried now, or married to somebody else now? Didn't she go back with some chick, or she's at least dating somebody, isn't she?
She's dating it said Eve Barlow. That's what.
That's who. Is that who she's with?
That's what it said in that one. So when they got her removed from the court, she got kicked out of the courtroom. That's what Ben Shue and their team reported. There was like she's a journalist and her girlfriend that's sitting in the front row. So
interesting. Unless they just meant it in general.
I didn't. That's not what they meant. I'm gonna say.
I know. I was just trying to give them the benefit of the doubt there. I guess.
No, I'm saying I'll say.
I
it
believe
for sure. I'll say it on record. That's not what they meant.
Yeah.
Well,
but
I got that. That document. It ended up in the public, but I got it about. I found out it was coming out, and I was like, I found out from sources. I was like, yo, give me that. I want it first. I want to laugh at Eve Barlow because she's been trying to take my channel down for a year,
Yeah.
So
well, that's the only reason I know who she is. Yeah, because of you.
Yeah, she organized other people. And again, the stuff behind the scenes. I got struck 9 times,
Well, didn't TMZ come after you and stuff too, or?
Yeah, that's copyright. Oh man, I'm sitting on. So I just had 2 more fake copyright claims, but TMZ did it, I think 6 times by themselves. They tried to copyright claim. Now that's not a hit, but still,
No, I know it's still, yeah.
It messes with your money, and they're just trying to be asses about it because they don't own it.
Yeah. But anyway, Valiant's got a role here, so we're gonna let him check out.
I got to jump too, man.
And Brandon says, look at all these great people. So glad JD won. Hose the losers. Orville is the best Western IP show on TV. Cheers all. Yes. Well, thank you for that, Brandon. But thank you for being here, Valiant, and thank you for being here, Tug. I don't know if you're taking off Redway, Tug, but
yeah, I gotta bounce. I gotta make a video.
I figured as much.
Take the kids on a vacation.
I say I did have one last question for you, but I'm gonna
hit me one. You hit me one more. I'll finish on that.
I was just going to ask, since you and I kind of know some people's in the Warner sphere, do you believe any of this Johnny Depp being in Beetlejuice 2? Because I don't believe it unless Tim Burton's involved, and he has not been announced yet. And I have not heard anything.
I've not heard anything about it, and I reached out to people I felt they wouldn't know, and they told me that they had not heard anything about it. So
I think it's pure speculation on my part, yeah.
I'm trying to find out actually what Johnny Depp did with his court doodles. I
bet you he puts a book together. That'd be awesome. I think he gave them to a lot of his team and stuff, and people.
He has. From what I understand, he has on this. Maybe he gave away a couple or something, but from what I understood,
because it looked like he gave his one lawyer a picture of one day. But I don't know.
He draw like he he puts out a lot of artwork. He did that NFT project, one of the only NFT projects I've ever seen that did something good. Like he had a real world piece of art, so if you picked up that, you also got a real world piece of art.
Got the actual piece of art too.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, that's all. You're buying the art and you get the thing with it. That's okay. I could deal with that.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, Six has got your link here in the chat, so check out Umbrella Guy or that Umbrella Man or the Umbrella Man. The
Umbrella God.
I talk to the Umbrella Man and he talks to me. We've got
schizophrenia.
I know, right? That's what we were having fun with that on the post I made. That
Oh God.
To this point, Tug is the only guy on YouTube that has ever asked me, "Oh, are you a fellow Second Amendment guy?"
The greatest thing
is
on
YouTube that wears a Sig Sauer hat in every video
right?
he's done for a year and a half.
Maybe it's window dressing, son.
What's great is this trial gave you a few more comic book characters. You got the evil mollusk. You got Dr.
You know what? I lost my faith in humanity when I saw a guy. He was reading a book, and I forget how it came up exactly, but it had the word feces in it, and he was reading. This one guy was reading, and this other guy walked by, and he looked at whatever it said. You know, it obviously had the word feces in it. I think it was a DSM book or something. And the guy was like, "Oh yeah, you know, I have some fishes too." It's like, oh my God, fishes. Fishes.
Oh Lord.
So I was like, man, I don't trust anybody and what they freaking say or wear.
Well, thank you for being here, Valiant. And yeah, thank you, Tug, for your time. And it's always great to talk to you, man. And
yeah, brother.
I'm glad we've kind of reached an end here, and I'm sure you're relieved.
Yeah, we'll have that second. Like I said, we got another chapter of crazy coming, though.
Oh, yes.
Good, you know. But anyway, I'll see you guys later. Hey,
take care, sir.
Meeting. I'm
have a good one.
I'll be in touch, sir. Take care. All right, so let's get back into the super chats. We got a couple. We got one, I think, at least, from Primark Vulcan. It says, are any of you able to provide some insight to us as to why we never got a Blu-ray copy of the American version of the 1994 Ray Liotta movie No Escape? My guess would have to be a rights issue. Let me take a look.
Obscure mention there, huh?
Yeah, but of course, that's kind of where I come into... let's see here. I don't know too much about the movie. I've seen it before. It's been years, but...
yeah. I remember it.
There is a Blu-ray.
I was going to say, as far as I can tell, it's a Blu-ray.
Unless, there's one. There you go.
Is it a different version, though? I think is what he's saying.
Might be a region... maybe
of the American version.
That might be a reason 2 or something.
Unless I'm seeing
looks like Anchor Bay released it here.
Ah, well, there you go.
Yeah, so check it out online. Anchor Bay looks like they released it, and I would imagine it doesn't say it's a director's cut or anything like that, so it would be the American cut, I'd imagine. See here, runs at 1 hour and 54 minutes. I'd have to do some more research to be able to give you a better answer on that, though. And none of the comments are saying anything about a different cut or anything like that. So maybe you just missed it, but it doesn't look like it came out that long ago either. So no, I take that back, 2015. But all the comments were like from 2020. So yeah, I see some foreign releases of it too, but they don't say anything otherwise. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's not available, but yeah, otherwise I'll have to do some more research on that, buddy. Sorry if I don't have a better answer.
Are you looking at the Ray Liotta No Escape?
Yeah.
Oh, because now I can't even find it. I found another movie that's on Blu-ray.
Oh no, you're right. This is not the right one.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on here.
I haven't heard of that in a long time.
Because there's one with Owen Wilson that's on Blu-ray.
Yeah, that's not the right one. Oh, okay. Never mind here. Okay, you're right. I'm
gonna clip that.
I didn't realize there was a whole nother movie. I wasn't paying that much attention to that part. I was looking at the info. Umbrella released it overseas. Is that who released it originally? That's the other question. Otherwise, probably just has to do with rights, I would imagine.
Some films fall between the cracks and they just don't get released for whatever reason. You think about it, go, what if that's out on DVD?
It has been released on DVD, but it's like very expensive. Yeah.
A lot of stuff doesn't get to Blu-ray.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out what company released it. Of course, it doesn't fucking say here. Anyhow. Yeah, it looks like you'll pay quite a bit for a DVD copy. Is it available on digital? That would be my only other suggestion.
It's out there somewhere.
But yeah, Umbrella did release it overseas. It's 118 minutes. Doesn't give me any other info other than that. Of course not. Why would it tell me anything other than that?
Yeah.
It's a Sony. It's a Columbia Pictures, so I don't know why Sony just sitting on it for some reason.
A lot of stuff just doesn't get the Blu-ray, even if it's been on DVD once or twice, or
I'd have to do more research on that. Sorry, I can't give you a better answer at this point. My suggestion though is get a region-free Blu-ray player. It's one of the best investments I ever made.
Those are good to have. It's tough to get any Blu-ray player right now. Just at the store, you got to order them or whatever. They're not,
I assume they cost more money.
Yes, region free.
Absol. Okay. No, yeah, I realized I was on the wrong one. If that's what you mean.
Scream from Absalom.
Yeah. I found it, but and Gizmo says it's region free. So if you can just get your hands on that one, go for it. Yeah, most of the Umbrella ones I've ever gotten have been region free.
Yeah.
And then Hillis Mallory wants to know if I've seen Drowning Moon. Yes, I have, and I recommend that movie quite often. It is one of the funniest fucking films ever. It's hilarious. I love
Who's in it?
It has Danny DeVito, Nev Campbell, Bette Midler, William Fichtner, Ben Affleck's little brother, Casey. Yeah. Who else is in it? God, it's got a whole bunch of people in it. Will Ferrell's in it. Yes, Cool World. Cool World's coming, Glinzer. I've been hearing things about Cool World. Titan AE, I don't know. I have the DVD of that. I am curious. I seen there's a really crappy HD master going around that I think is just for cable or whatever that's on like streaming or something like that. But I have not heard anything about Titan AE, and unfortunately that's sitting under Disney's umbrella now because it was a Fox title. So it'll be interesting to see if they do anything with that or not. They are bringing out Fern Gully, so that's maybe. You mean the new Beavis and Butthead Do America trailer? That's the original film. You mean the sequel, the new one?
No, Do America.
The new movie for the new movie.
Oh, they got a new movie coming?
Yeah, in space or whatever. Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's check this out. Even though Paramount will fucking bing us.
Huh.
Oh yeah, here we go. 2 hours ago.
The trailer?
Yep.
I thought it was yesterday.
Well, I don't know. I just see it. The one posted 2 hours ago. Here's one from 4 hours ago. Do the Universe. Yeah. Paramount posted it 4 hours ago. South Park dropped yesterday and I forgot about it.
Oh, it's a good one.
That's what I heard too. I got to check it out. But all right, here. Let's see. This is not very long, so. You've been playing Wheel of Fortune with someone else, ain't you? Yeah, that's from Drowning Mona. You wanted to buy a vowel, so I let you buy a vowel. You wanted to win the trip to Acapulco. Yeah, thank you for that, Hillis Mallory. I love that film. If you've not seen Drowning Mona, check it out. That's available on digital anyway. DVD is a little harder to find, but all right, let's see this.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
The Earth sucks. Wait a minute. I think the floor's not working. Look at that number up there on the billboard.
There's a 2 and then some kind of circle.
No, dumbass, not that number. That one. 69. This show sucks. It's like just these fat people standing.
Cornholio! I need TV for my book!
Oh, shit! Who are you, fart knockers?
Amusing, yes, humorous, yes. Satirical comment on the time. Yes, amusing.
Oh, God.
Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. A new movie streaming June 23rd, exclusively on
Oh,
Paramount
yes.
Plus.
Yes.
That changes everything.
Yes. And this is supposed to set up
Oh,
the new
shit.
series, too. That looks
Wow.
so good.
You mean I have to get Paramount Plus now?
I know. I have it already for the offer, so.
God, I didn't want to get him. I hate him.
It's got a similar kind of plot to the Rocco's Modern Life movie that came out a few years back.
Yeah.
But this seems to be far more dedicated
Mike
to the
Judge.
characters.
They have the
At first, I
Watchers
was like,
Collective.
okay, this is kind of, and then it ramped itself up, and I'm
Oh,
like, okay.
How did they get involved into NASA through like space camp or something?
Yeah, it's space camp or something.
That's fantastic. So they obviously transported into the future, or
Yep. So that's how they get them dumped into the new,
That's
into now. Yep.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. I can't wait.
Yeah, because the
I
movie's
miss
supposed to
those
pick
guys.
up where the series left off in '97
Good.
or whatever. Yeah.
Remember back, like, was it about 10 or 15, whatever years ago, where they brought him back for a short time?
Yeah, there was
The
a short
series,
little stint. Yeah,
pretty
it
funny,
wasn't too
but
bad.
They were making fun of all the garbage that was on MTV at the time.
Yeah.
And I guess it probably pissed somebody off.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. That time when they did that, it was like a limited thing because it was a deal they worked out because they had an original deal for a sequel that never happened for
Yes.
Beavis and Butthead, and he to play nice and make nice, they did this deal, so it was just like a 1-season deal. But yeah, we were never supposed to get any more after that. But Mike Judge, I guess he got a bug up his butt, and he's like,
Nice.
"Yeah, I want to do some more."
That's the, I guess someone's asking if my character is a wild boar species. So he's a Mocklin from the Orville.
He smokes.
Yes, that was the smoking episode.
I'm growing a mustache.
Yeah, that was great too.
And
Bordis
he's getting a summer body for Bordis.
I seen that clip.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mega Wing Zero wants to know, did a super chat come through? I did not see one from you, Mega Wing Zero. Yeah. I've been keeping up with him pretty good tonight, outside of when we were talking with Tug. No, I don't see one, Mega Wing Zero. Did you send it like just now or earlier tonight?
I have to backtrack. StreamYards lets you back on track all
Yeah,
the
that's
way.
what I'm doing, and I'm not seeing anything. But let me know if he says anything or if something new comes through anyway. 'Cause I'm going way back now. I'm way back. Going back in time.
Gotta get back,
No.
Marty.
No.
Gotta get back. Weird.
Unless you sent it before the show anyway. No, I'm not finding
Said
it.
just now.
Oh, then it must not have.
No. Check your bank account. Make sure you didn't get charged for it.
Yeah. And if so, then let Google know.
Someone's asking if why wasn't Bordis in that free. Bordis was in the first episode.
Yeah,
he was
loaded
there.
the,
Not much,
missiles.
but he was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He loaded the missiles in that operation.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit
Clyde
about
wasn't there.
that. Because we all pretty much watched it, I think. Did you, except for you, Six, you didn't watch
I watched the pilot of the Orville and I loved it. I just haven't
Caught Up
not
yet?
caught up to you guys yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. It was all right. I was a little disappointed that we didn't get a little bit more something to do, considering it's the first time back after a few years. And
Yeah,
I
it was
felt-
longer though. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, it was good. I didn't get much to laugh at though, but that was probably because of the dour nature of the
It was
episode.
pretty dour,
and,
yeah.
and you and I and Script and Six were talking a little bit about it before the show. And I mean, yeah, it's like I think if they would have approached it a little bit different way, I would have liked it more. But even though it sounds like I wasn't a big fan of it, I did enjoy it. I did have a good time watching it. I'm
Yeah.
glad the Orville's back. I'm glad to see all the
Yeah.
characters that are there. The newer characters, it'll take me some time to warm up to them, but
Yeah.
we'll see how that rolls.
Okay,
But-
I really,
character.
yeah. What's yeah?
well, I'm still
Darling.
warming up to that other new what's her face who took over in the second season.
Oh, really? I've gotten used to Talia.
Talia, yeah, I haven't quite got
really
used to
like
her
her.
yet.
But I love the episode. I was very happy about it. Again, I think there was more energy, excitement, spectacle, and and characterization and substance in that one episode that's been all of the STD and on this little bar. I realize that all in the fake Trek and Disney Star Wars trash. One episode of the Orville is better than all that combined right now. So it was a breath of fresh air. Looking forward to see what they do with the rest of the season. So,
what do you think, Script?
I thought it was okay. They did spend a lot of time on the upgrading of the ship and the new assault shuttle thing. Basically, it was kind of like that 5 to 7 minutes of looking at the Enterprise in the motion picture after the refit. They were kind of like, let's do that with some dialogue.
Yeah,
for
that was
30 minutes of the entire show, which was all right, but it just felt like it was lacking something extra with that.
One thing I want to ask you about Script is, what do you think about do you think this takes place right after the episode's Identity, part 1 and 2, or are they? Because remember, there were a few episodes after that, at least in the order they were aired on the DVD, and then this, or is this something they finally went back and got refit later? I'm not really sure how it places.
I think this is a slightly alternate timeline because of what
happened in the last one. Okay,
the last one, because the uniforms are different too. They don't. The blue doesn't go all the way up to the shoulders. There's like a black lining around it, but apparently all the events still kind of happen, but there's just enough of a change that it's slightly different.
But didn't it feel like it was sort of, remember those 2 episodes where they were all battered and beaten, the whole fleet was in disarray, remember? And it makes sense that there would be an episode that shows how they're all getting put back together. This seems like that, but as we know, there were a few episodes that took after that happened, somewhere around mid-season or toward the end of the mid-season of second season. So it kind of felt like it out of place, only in the sense that it seemed like they jumped back to see how all the refit stuff happened. But like you said, there's slight alterations to the uniforms. So it could be an alternate timeline like you're talking about.
And the shuttles are completely different as well.
They changed the shuttles. So this is probably later. Then I guess it's just maybe they'll explain it later.
I don't think the refit is with regards to repair of the battle. I think it's just refit because they've got upgrades that are better suited against the Kaylon.
Probably what it was.
That's what I got. One moment where they're saying oh yeah, we're going to take this out, but it's brand new. It's it was a year ago. It's not now.
I got you. I kind of like that ship that Malloy was flying. That was kind of a fun scene there with the.
I'm surprised there's only one of them, because I'm like, wouldn't you have a whole?
You need a couple. Yeah, you might want a few. Yeah. Or you're just testing. Maybe it's a prototype thing. But anyway, sorry about that. Bruce, what is Bruce doing there? Hello?
Bruce Campbell?
Yeah, what's the deal with that? I saw something.
He says, send me a script. Yeah.
Wow.
That's hilarious. I would definitely go see that.
Oh, man.
Give me some sugar, baby.
Hail to the king, baby.
Hail to the king. Yeah, good old Bruce. Groovy indeed.
Groovy.
Oh, yes.
You know how to talk to fishes, Aquaman, but you don't know how to talk to a woman. Love me for who I am. My eyes are up here. My eyes are up here.
Come get some.
Quit looking at the chin.
Yes, sir. Go, Bruce.
That would be hilarious. But yeah, some other exciting news happened yesterday, and I'm sure we'll probably get into this a little bit more on the morning show tomorrow, so I'm not going to waste too much time on this, because Andre's got a video dropping here soon if he hasn't dropped it already. I wouldn't be surprised. I think he's holding off a little bit longer, but yeah, Toby Emmerich is out as Motion Picture Group Chairman. Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdi to lead the studio. Yeah, this dropped yesterday while we were live. This is an interesting move. Not unexpected, though. But it is the shakeup I think Warner Brothers needs right now. Mike DeLuca was a huge force behind New Line Cinema, and I think, given the chance, personally, I think that was the right move. I said he should have gotten Toby's role to begin with, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think about it. Let's start with Script down there at the bottom, because he's got the Inside track.
It's just about time. I'd pretty much say that.
15 years too late, but yeah.
Yeah, several over a couple decades too late, really.
Yeah, closer to 20. You're right. Actually, he's been there for. I'd have to look, but yeah, it might be over 20 years now.
It might be over 20 years, yeah. But yeah, finally he's out. Michael DeLuca, been around for a long time, very fiscally minded producer. Pam Abdi was or is his like assistant and production partner. She's been around for a while, but she only has a handful of credits because she works in different departments with regards to production, so she doesn't always get credited on films.
She probably backs him up a lot too, I'd assume.
Yeah, my understanding is that they have a pretty solid partnership. So the fact that both of them are being brought in to kind of build a new infrastructure within Warner Brothers is a good sign. This one is kind of more of the obvious tracks. Like we're probably going to be seeing that for the next few months. A lot of obvious terminations of contracts. What we have to really keep an eye out for to see what type of direction Warner Brothers Discovery is going to be going is who is he hiring and who is he backing by like the year's end, because that's gonna say far more. Because right now he's just getting rid of the easy stuff. I mean, I think Kalar is probably not going to be lasting very long after this year.
Oh, he already said he's leaving as soon as everything's settled. So yeah.
Like we have no idea how small Warner Brothers is going to be on the office side of things by year's end, and I hope it's going to be nice and tight and easily efficient and organized.
Because tight.
Right now it's just a lot of wasted money on people that don't really do a whole lot over there.
Exactly. So. Well, and that's the other thing. They cried and pissed and moaned because they actually were expected to come into the offices. That was hilarious.
Well, which is funny because they were building them a whole new set of offices anyways. In fact, like before DC got kicked out of their office in Burbank, they were building them another better office to initially transfer them over to, and I think those plans have been completely reorganized to fit with someone else instead of the DC publishing team. So that's also kind of funny as well. But yeah, it's again we're just in the early stages of this until we start seeing different hires. I mean, I remember hearing from Mikey Sutton a few weeks ago that during one of the Warner Brothers announcements, they were going to have Emmerich or someone announced that they're going to support Henry Cavill for another Superman film, but that didn't happen. So I'm thinking there's probably going to be some more happenings behind the scenes before they decide to commit if they are going to go with another Henry Cavill film for Superman or not. I think that's all still up in the air.
And, you think that was meant to go along with the time when Zaslav was talking about how they need to make Superman a character again that's important and kind of, I can't remember the exact term he used, but
I don't remember the exact term either, but I do remember hearing that the announcement was going to happen a few weeks ago, or at least at that big Warner Brothers presentation event, and it didn't. So I'm thinking maybe they had either second thoughts about it, or they're trying to figure out. I mean, if I was in Zapplause's position, I'd be like, I would much rather see how the stuff we already have in the can plays before I make a decision on what direction we're actually going to go to, because you don't know what's going to happen with those. I guess four movies that they pretty much have shot and are just going to be dropped.
4 or 5 projects. Yeah, I can't remember.
The fifth one being the Blue Beetle, which is still in production right now, which looks to be going pretty smoothly, which is all as good.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that, but I don't think you were with us that day because they had the leaked photos and footage.
Costume looks okay. I'm not a big fan of the giant scarab on the back of the costume, but it looks bulky.
Well, I think there's going to be some additional things added with CGI, but Klobby's got to take off here, so I want to grab his reaction real quick, and then we'll get back into the other parts of this and get Six's reaction as well. But Klobby, so real quick, your reaction, especially when it comes from, I suppose, the DC side of things, being that's your repertoire.
Well, I don't know much about any of the movie stuff. I know that name, but mainly what you've been telling me. So I think that since it was a good birthday present for you yesterday to get that, I'm all with it. But other than that, I don't know much about it. I got to admit, man, I don't follow.
When it comes to Toby, my simple thing is I go, tell me one hit that Warner Brothers has had in the last 20 years that wasn't a Batman project or a Harry Potter project. I'll wait.
And I think that's only the Lego movie, really.
Yeah, and that I think has and that's the thing, that's like a license deal. So
boom, he's out.
That's what I'm saying. They have not done anything. Even The Matrix took a dump.
I mean, Christopher Nolan's films through Warner Brothers were pretty solid, but they never really had that lasting effect of the conversation after they dropped.
His outside of his Dark Knight movies, they never made the kind of money his Dark Knight movies made, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, like Interstellar and
and they had a co-production with Paramount on Interstellar, and then they lost how much money on his last one?
Yeah.
On Tenet, they lost a lot of money. Legendary also lost it.
I would say about $100 million at least.
Yeah, I mean, Aquaman made money and a couple others ones, but no, he's for the most part not a lot.
I mean, technically, when it comes to the DC side of things, Aquaman is Aquaman and Joker are the most financially.
I would argue that Aquaman is a fucking fluke, and it's only because of Jason Momoa.
It's driven by Jason Momoa.
Exactly. Because that was the whole thing with Entourage, was they let Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers, of course, owning HBO, producing the show, they're like, well, what character can we use here? They let them use Aquaman and Warner Brothers, because at that time, there was never a chance in hell they were ever going to make an Aquaman movie. That was kind of part of the joke, right? You have James Cameron directing it and shit like that. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but the one thing that is accurate, they do get, which Warner Brothers just shows how smart they are with casting. In both versions, the fictional and the one we got, they still get a guy with brown hair to play a blonde sea king. You know,
yes. And it can pretty much be argued that the star is the reason that the movie did well too in the Entourage version, because it ends up being and see, that's what it was funny. I was just thinking of this and I'm like, shit, I wish I'd have thought about it when we were talking about it the other day. But like, you know what? I think that bitch who kept saying, "Oh, Aquaman's the biggest movie of all time," she's probably getting it from fucking Entourage. Remember that?
Vinny Chase.
That was the only time it was ever the biggest movie of all time. Is in Entourage.
James Cameron's Aquaman.
Exactly. And the sequel flopped, remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. With Jake Gyllenhaal.
Because he didn't want to do it because he went and did Medellin instead, and they recast his role.
That's right. Aquaman 2.
Anyway, I was like, shit, she's thinking of Entourage. That's what she's thinking about.
Oh, man. I thought Vinny was miscast, personally.
Yeah.
Of course. He's not a good actor anyways, the guy.
Well, that's why I say I think it's so funny, is because we actually got that kind of in real life with Jason Momoa, right? It's true, because like you put anybody else in that, nobody really and never have you ever heard anybody go up and say Aquaman's my favorite comic book character.
I'm a fan of Aquaman. You'll hear one.
You can be a fan, but he's not nobody's favorite.
Except for the
I want to see the one person say that shit.
I could probably lead you to him. There's a guy with an Aquaman, a blog called the Aquaman Shrine, but you're right. There's not.
I believe him, the one guy.
Yes,
and I'm not talking about some, come latelys that are because of Jason Momoa.
No. Yeah, he's looking dude, bro. Aquaman. I don't know. I never really liked this guy.
He looks like Lobo. He should be Lobo.
Yeah. Yes. In fact, Patrick Wilson in that film, he looked like Aquaman.
He's a better choice. But I want to get Six's take on this. I know you got to leave though, Clobby. So I'll let you.
Yeah. Thank you
do
so
your
much,
exit.
buddies. Appreciate you all. Six,
bye,
love to
Clobby.
see you. Script.
Take it easy, man.
Thank you, Tom, so much for having me. Good night.
No
See
problem.
you all later. Everyone, take care.
Take care of yourself, Clobby.
Have a good one.
So Six, what's your take on all this? I know you're so quiet, but yeah.
Well, historically, when new management comes in, they make a clean sweep, and sometimes that's a good plan, and sometimes it's not. But this move also comes as Warner Brothers Discovery has reimagined the structure of its film business. And Zaslav was said to be enamored with what Disney Company has achieved in operating its media operations as a series of distinctive brands. I'm just kidding. I don't know anything about it. I'm totally reading that from Variety article.
Hey, it works for you. You're at least doing some research.
Yeah, I don't know. It's totally outside my purview.
But no, so he's actually taking what from Disney now? What?
I wasn't even paying attention when I was reading. It says the move also comes as Warner Brothers Discovery has reimagined the structure of its film business. Zaslav was said to be enamored with what the Walt Disney Company has achieved in operating its media operations as a series of distinctive brands with the likes of Marvel's Kevin Feige, Lucasfilm's Devil, Kathleen Kennedy, I added Devil, and Pixar's Jim Morris and Pete Docter overseeing independent fiefdoms. What's that word mean? He wants to do something similar with Warner Brothers.
So like good DC films, stuff like that, I think is what it's saying, probably. Kind of like how they have them all structured off there to Lucasfilm and all that business, I would imagine. Is that way you take it to script, or?
Well, he needs to build an infrastructure. And the only one out of the studios mentioned, the only one that actually has a solid infrastructure and organization is Marvel, because Lucasfilm never had infrastructure. It was at the whim of George Lucas.
I meant like by how the company's set up, though, how they actually have the different studios for the different film divisions, though.
I'm sorry, that didn't feel like a proper question you asked.
Oh, okay. That's what I was gathering from what she just said, is what I was saying. But
oh no, yeah, I don't think the article is mostly word salad in that regard. Like the one thing that Zaslav has to do is he has to downsize everything and then just basically take a look at. He has to essentially make 3 studios. One for the IP properties. In this case, it's primarily just going to be DC. And then you have your art films, and then your tentpole films, and that's basically those 3 departments that you have to worry about. And they all have to have the same type of
maybe animation
that coordinates. What's that?
Maybe an animation side.
That probably, I think the animation side would probably fall under the other 3 genres. Is basically it's like, okay, if you're going to do a cartoon and it's going to be under DC, it's going to be under these DC film studios. If you're going to do a cartoon, it's going to be a comedy, action, or drama or something. It's going to be under those 2 other types of studios, just to keep it far more organized, and also make sure that you're streamlining the departments. It's like, okay, so we have the people that handle this IP, the DCP IP, that's all they focus on, and then you got the people that handle all the other stuff, like the spec scripts, the original IP, the back catalog, Warner Brothers. That's not as versatile in comparison to like DC. So you're talking about like Harry Potter, Dune, because Dune's got a handful of books, even though it's got a massive like volumes of expanded lore and history as well. They're probably going to keep that small just because the potential budget for the future Doom projects is going to be huge. So they have to be very careful and pick and choose. And right now, Zaslav is trying to keep things curtailed to $200 million and less on the larger properties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting.
And again, it's going to be difficult because he has to get $3 billion in synergies to keep Warner Brothers in a good state financially. And I think you get a lot of that from first cutting a series of redundant departments, building some tight-knit IP regulation studios, and then canceling that or renegotiating that JJ contract.
Oh, they're already in the midst of that.
Oh, yeah. I like how they've been downplaying it. A couple of the trades have been downplaying it, saying it's only $250 million, but it's like, no, it's $500 million.
Yeah.
We all know the real price tag to it.
Yeah, I think it's going to go below that. Mega J says, do you think Daria will show up in the movie? Maybe, but...
As the principal of the high school?
I was going to say, I think it'll be in the future more so than anything. But yeah, maybe. I mean, the thing is it depends on... I don't think she showed up in the reboot, because she moves away in the show so they could go and have the show of her own. And Mike Judge had absolutely nothing to do with the Daria spinoff, so...
Yeah.
Because that was kind of one of the big points of contention between him and MTV, is that MTV owned the rights to the characters and he didn't. So they could technically do whatever the hell they wanted with them. But they started playing more nice with him, so... But yeah, I think she'll show up. Nicholas Horton says, with 2023 approaching, do you think Universal will allow Mattel to continue with the Motu toy line, or will they go with another company like Hasbro? Here's the thing. We have not been able to exactly get a straight fucking answer out of anybody. We get the runaround every time we talk about this rights deal. So we're either under the understanding that it's been under this stipulation, or we'll go to the stipulation that Mattel will have right to first refusal. So either that's what's going on right now, or that's what it will be in the future. That's the thing we can't get an answer on. And what that means is if somebody wants to make a He-Man figure or some kind of He-Man product, then they have to go through Mattel first. And if Mattel decides they don't want to, then they can go ahead and go with whoever. Which we've seen other products from other companies, not Mattel. So I think that's the case as it is right now. So in 2023, at some point, I don't know what point of the year, the rights are supposed to revert back to Universal. Now, as we've pointed out before, one of the reasons they might be trying to keep everything hush hush is because they may already have some kind of deal figured out. And because I pointed out that it's probably just as easy for Universal to let Mattel just to continue to run and do the things the way they are right now with it, because they kind of run the entertainment side of the thing. Mattel handles the toy side of thing, and then that way they don't have to deal with all the licensees coming to them first. They kind of got a bottleneck through Mattel, if that makes sense. So then they don't have to deal with all that stuff, because it can be a lot of shit that when people ask you about licensing, and it's a lot of stuff you got to go through, and not so much red tape, but just like signing off on things and making sure that they're not going to put like paint on it that's going to kill kids and shit like that. Just all that random shit that you have to go into. And in this case, though, it's like, oh, we want to make a He-Man toothbrush. Well, that's not Mattel. They don't want to do that. So then they'll just go with whatever company wants to make it. So that's kind of how I see it. I don't know if anybody else has anything to add to that.
Well, why
no,
wouldn't
you
they
kind of
want
went
to make
on.
it?
Yeah, I did. Nobody stopped me. Go ahead, Sig.
Why wouldn't they want to make a He-Man toothbrush?
They probably would. That's my point.
Oh, okay.
Like 90% or 80% of the products out there are all Hasbro, but I've been hearing some rumors about some of the toy companies either conglomerating or one or two buying the other up anyway. So it'll be interesting to see in the next couple of years. Jay Raybold asked about the whole situation. Does this mean Warner Brothers can put some love into the old New Line cinema movies, such as Blu-ray and 4K releases? They could. My question is, I don't know what shape or what they all have for masters to go by, because New Line was a much smaller company, and I've heard horror stories about finding prints and shit, so we'll see. And Atma Manish says, heard that Zaslav may put the director of Joker as his Kevin Feige.
I don't know about Miller doing that.
Yeah, I don't know. You did?
Again, what?
Yeah, there was. Oh shoot! Now I gotta find it.
Because that's kind of out of place. It's the dumbest thing to do to put a creative into a business lead position.
Yeah, it would kind of go against the idea of, especially if him wanting to do something like Disney too, because Feige was not so much a creative.
He's a producer. He's not a director. He's not an actor. He's not a writer. He's a deal maker, a facilitator. He knows how to organize and schedule and get things done. You need someone to do that. A director doesn't care about those things. They just want to be able to make their
movies.
movie.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like Favreau will never be head of Star Wars at under Disney. Someone else will, but Favreau will be the creative in charge of whatever one day, maybe. I don't know. But
I mean, he'll
never be in that position. That's like what a Kevin Feige is, or what Kathleen Kennedy was, what Frank Marshall has been, or Gary Kurtz, or any of those, or even Robert Evans, any of those producers.
I don't want to never say never to that, but yeah, I mean, as far as like an official taking it only and only that, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Cardinal Sin has been a member for 7 months at the maximum effort puppy level and says, "Hail Tom 6 script and everyone in the chat, the mods, huzzah, Duck Fisney." Yes, indeed, Duck Fisney. Then we got, if Zaslav is appointed any one of you to produce a new Cavill-led film, Nikki D asks, which story would you adapt and who would direct? Start with you, Six. Henry Cavill's what you got to work with. You get to pick the rest.
Henry Cavill. Who would direct? I'm going to pick George Lucas.
You think he'd want to make a Superman movie?
No, but I love George Lucas and I miss him.
But yeah, it's fantasy, so okay.
Dearly.
All right. And what kind of story would you make? Would you start over? Would you try to do a sequel? Would you?
I would not start over. I'd put him smack dab middle of him being a hero so we can see him being a hero. And he'd still be dating Lois Lane, and but she wouldn't be a major part of the story because I don't so much care about her. But it would be mostly Superman doing Superman stuff. Being a dude and saving the world.
Nice.
But I just shared that article.
Yes. All right. We'll get into that in just a second. Script, what's your answer?
Oh, for a Cavill-led Superman film, I would recast everyone except for Cavill. First villain would be Metallo. under the guise of Lex Luthor. No one would know Superman's real identity, not even Lois Lane, because that's stupid to do at the first movie. Followed up with a second film with Brainiac, and the results of Brainiac's actions release Zod from the Phantom Zone, and then you cap it off with a Zod storyline. Throw him in a suit that's not rubber, more akin to something that actually highlights the hard work that Henry Cavill puts into his body, as opposed to just the fake exterior muscle suit on top of his already existing muscles. That's like silly. Bring back the trunks. Make Clark Kent a more masculine but humble person, not like a bumbling fool and idiot, but like someone that's comparable to like a normal man, but different enough that Superman can have fun, make Superman smile a lot, and actually save people, like proper, not just in the thing of like I'll sacrifice a city to save the planet type of thing, but like actually try, and pull off feats that really would earn the name Superman.
Yeah, I see here. This is interesting.
And I'd have Joe Dante direct.
Sorting out DC remains a major challenge for Zaslav. Sources say he has asked Todd Phillips. This is according to Hollywood Reporter. The multi-fenet who created Dark 2019 billion-dollar grosser Joker to do more in the DC universe, potentially acting as an advisor. That's okay. Well, he'll not serve in an executive capacity. Okay, so that's exactly what Script and I were saying, basically.
Yeah, I just remember reading something with his name mentioned.
That's a creative consultant. That's what Jon Favreau was to Marvel after he was ejected after Iron Man 2.
And I will argue what he's kind of doing for Star Wars now.
It probably is, yeah. Although he's a bit more intimate with Star Wars.
That's what I'm saying, yes. Yeah. So yeah, as far as my answer, Nikki D, I like Scripps' approach. I like Six's approach. I'd probably do something in between. I wouldn't totally discount the other movies since I am stuck with Cavill. I would bring back majority, if not all, the cast. But I would like Six. I just kind of pick up, kind of loosely ignore, but still acknowledge that there was stuff that happened before, but like a baseline version of the, the basic Superman story that everybody knows. So like you don't reference anything outside of that kind of stuff, if you know what I mean. Like what Script said, I'd get him a new suit. Brainiac's a great villain to bring in. If not, you can bring in Lex Luthor Sr. since he technically exists. We've never heard if he's dead or alive.
The problem you're facing is that you're dealing with the baggage of the mistakes.
I know, and you can still get away from it, but you can. I'm trying to use it to my advantage, right? I'm trying to use it to the advantage of the fact that we have this established world already, so we don't have to necessarily retell Superman's story. But as long as we avoid any of the pitfalls of the bad shit, and just if we do reference anything, it's just, oh yeah, he's from the planet Krypton, and the basics.
I didn't even say anything about an origin story. I just said it's
Superman
I know. Already there. Like you just start fresh. Skip the origin. You have him at the Daily Planet. Lois knows nothing, and the big bad is Metallo, and you have Lex Luthor, the one that builds them and does stuff there, and it's just a straightforward adventure. Like just forget that crap and the craziness of the alien invasion and then the doomsday stuff. Like that's all a lot of baggage that just doesn't help, or it doesn't even build a proper foundation to.
You don't even really have to acknowledge it. That's my point, because it's already been dealt with in the earlier films. You can just kind of pick up, like you said, but this is my interpretation, what I would do. So again, because I would try to make it to where the Snyder fans would be happy and the Superman fans would be happy. To where it doesn't.
You'll make no one happy if you go that route.
Well, you can, in the sense that as long as you don't discount that the stuff could have, and the way you do that is easy. And my example is the 2007 animated TMNT film. Basically, that version picks up to where it doesn't matter which version of the Turtles that you're aware of, they just pick the basics to refer to back to. So if you're familiar with the original cartoon, the 2000s cartoon, the movies, even if it's the Next Mutation or whatever, any of those things fit in this to where you can kind of, Next Mutation doesn't really fit. But anyway, nobody wants to remember that anyway. But point being is, as long as you got a cursory knowledge of who the Turtles are, you can get into that and it works for you. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. As long as you have a cursory knowledge of who Superman is, you can get into it. It works here. And since I'd be bringing back majority of the cast, basically, that part would be fine. I understand where you're coming from with Lois. Honestly, I don't really give a shit if she knows who he is or not. That part doesn't bother me so much.
You lose a fun story element. That's the
you
problem.
do to a point, but like at the same time, I'm with 6. We've seen most of the Superman stories have revolved around Superman and Lois. In fact, you've had 2 series now that revolve around Superman and Lois. I don't really give a shit if we get too much into Superman and Lois. To me, I'm more like, let's get into some Superman action. Let's let him be Superman. And I would get I like Joe Dante, but I would probably get Joe Johnston to direct. Honestly.
Oh, either one. Either of those the shows would work.
Because Joe Johnston, of course, who directed more recently, I guess, if Captain America, the first film, would be the example. But I think, and plus he has Star Wars pedigree and all that kind of stuff. And I think he would do probably the most justice to the character. As far as writing, though, God, me and script, and we'd be arguing about it through the whole fucking thing, but we'd probably get the best Superman script you can get in a while. Out of it when we're done.
I don't need you.
I know you don't need me, but you know. I don't like all the things you said though too, so that's the thing. You got to keep that into consideration. So
yeah.
But all right, let's see here. Let's wrap this up. Though I know we wanted to talk a little bit of Obi-Wan. Did you still want to talk about Obi-Wan 6 or?
It was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really talked about the 3rd episode at all. My God. There was a story you sent me. I didn't know if you really wanted to get into that too much at all.
I don't even remember. I sent you...
About the writer? Here we go. It's called How Obi-Wan Kenobi justifies Obi-Wan not knowing Anakin was alive. It all comes down to, is it viable with canon to play that card? No, not really.
Well, if Pablo says so, then because Pablo can do no wrong. He is the guru.
Is Pablo the writer of this episode?
Oh,
no, but I guess the writer went to Pablo and said, "Father, may I?" And Pablo said, "Yes, I bestow upon you permission."
Yeah, I see it right there. I had to confirm with Pablo Hidalgo. Fuck him. He's part of the problem.
Yeah.
He's a big part of the fucking problem.
Well, and then he was on Twitter today. He was saying something about he's not the guy who says, hey, we should make a movie about a dog playing basketball. He's the guy who says, well, technically, yes, a dog can play basketball or something like that. Which I'm assuming was in response to this article since his name was mentioned.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, I think he was just saying that he doesn't come up with the idea. He just says it's okay.
I get what you're saying, but like
he's the referee in the rule book that says, well, there's no rule that says a dog can't play basketball. That's what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
fuck him and him being an arbiter of what's Star Wars and not.
Yeah, he's no authority. There is a good argument to be made that on Tatooine, Obi-Wan isolates himself and focuses so much on Luke, he doesn't care about Vader or even knowing about Vader because the Empire doesn't come out there. But you can tell an interesting story where he learns that Vader's alive, and it's basically just causes him to be more cautious on the planet to not stir up any reason.
Everybody knows he's there. Fucking that one rando Jedi finds him. Everybody fucking finds him.
Yeah, that's stupid. Like, nobody should be finding him.
I mean, and I tried to like this fucking show, but there's just so much stupid in this fucking show that I can't get my head around it. It's like it could have been, all you had to do was have it, Obi-Wan Kenobi's the only one who can come get the kid. Fine, but the kid shouldn't be the one who's being kidnapped in the first place. And
they can communicate him. They can, from Alderaan to Tatooine, they can communicate through Holo, which means that Leia didn't actually have to fly out to get Obi-Wan for that message stuff. Like there's that issue. The other part too is our first reveal of Anakin in the bacta tank and the water's coming out. He's not ghostly white. He's got a tan, and I'm like, it's been 10 years he's been living in that suit. He should be pasty white by that point. He shouldn't still have flesh colored skin. It doesn't take decades to lose that. It actually takes maybe like a year and a half of never seeing the sun to go ghostly white. So there's that part, and the other part too is you have a character of Obi-Wan who is supposed to be a Jedi and who's there to not only just watch over Luke but be ready to train him if the time comes that he needs to be trained. and in the interim he severs himself from the Force and kind of loses practice with it, like that's only going to make it harder for you to train the boy. And on top of that, the whole reason Anakin is the way he is because he never, he wasn't properly trained, I guess. It's a failure of Obi-Wan in some regards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Inquisitors are basically a contradiction to the fact that Darth Vader is supposed to be all that's left of their religion,
right.
According to Tarkin, right?
Well, she left. Sure. Shit.
She's rebooting.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think I figured out what the problem was. It's whenever we have something on screen.
Oh.
But all right.
Why would that affect her though?
I don't know. It's weird, but it did it the last time when we had something. Well, she put it up last time and it was doing it, but then when I put it up this time, she was fine until I brought up that thing on screen, and then she started crackling again. So I think that's the problem. It's StreamYard. But I think it's just when we have stuff on the screen, but we'll test it here in a minute. But welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was trying to find something. I got a new story. Okay. This is interesting, kids. I didn't know if you had anything left to say about Obi-Wan though first, so go ahead.
And don't keep us waiting. What's up?
Yeah, what's up?
I got to get somebody in here to tell us the story about this. Come on in here.
Hello. I'm back. Guess what, kids? We didn't get Congo 2 done yet. Sorry about that. But we did get Arachnophobia remake. It's coming. It's coming. Christopher Landon's writing it. That's right. I'm producing it. It's coming. Arachnophobia is back, baby. Yeah. Aren't you excited? Why ain't anybody excited? Fuck you, Beef. Yay. I try to get something going for y'all, and you just give me some stupid it's not Congo 2. Well, fuck you.
How are you going to remake a classic?
Scout's Guide to Zombie Apocalypse, dude? That's writing it?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to this shit. I just make the movies.
Oh.
Christopher Landon. Isn't that related to Michael Landon? That's all I know. Shit. Now you tell me this. Frankie was back until this script doctor guy had to go poke a hole in my balloon.
Wait, is this from Joe Blow?
This is from Joe Blow. 7 hours ago.
They don't know crap.
It was from the Hollywood Reporter. The Hollywood Reporter.
So they're citing the Hollywood Reporter.
And he wrote Happy Death Day and Freaky. So he wrote that.
That's the Vince Vaughn horror film, right?
Yes. Yes. The Vince McMahon horror film. That's the guy.
Yeah, that's
it's an all new movie. And I'm on board to executive produce. See, it says right there. See? Right there in writing. See? Marshall, that's me, is on board as executive producer. You know whose name is not on this movie? That bitch.
Carol Baskins?
No, fucking Kathleen. Jesus Christ, you're gonna make me say her name, ain't you? Dirty bastard. Stay away from my spiders, woman. We are not having all lady spiders. I told her this is not happening. And she wanted to.
The first spider is a lady giving birth to all the little ones, mated with the normal house spider.
God damn it. You and your fucking logic. I've had enough. Now I can't write this movie.
You weren't going to write it to begin with. This Landon guy was.
As far as you know, I ghost write everything, you know.
Oh, so you're the reason for the scene of put down my sesame seed cake?
Hell yes, and Roger Rabbit. And Back to the Futures. And all the other movies that Spielberg did. I wrote that. That's right. Congo.
And he just left. You pissed him off. Jesus. He wanted you to be all excited.
Make such a stupid movie.
he was all hopped up on cocaine coming in here wanting to talk about arachnophobia, and you just pissed all over his Cheerios now. He's like,
give me Congo 2, damn it. That's what I want. I don't want no
I know we all want Congo 2, just like Steven says. Congo 2 must have zombie Bruce Campbell. Yes.
Here you go.
And yeah. So we got this one from Nikki D. Thank you for that. Bobo Yogi says, I won't recast until Paul Rubens plays.
I won't rest until
I won't rest. I got you. I'm Superman. Bobo Yogi also says it's 2022. RuPaul needs to be Superman. Well, Superman. And you'll do your thing. There you go. All right, kids. Hillis Mallory says, wait, why?
Oh, you already
was
got
that from earlier?
Wrong.
That was it was earlier. Okay. Thank you for that, Hillis. And everybody else. I think we're going to wrap this up because I think Andre already dropped the video, or he's about to. I think he said it. Oh, it's already out a few minutes ago. So go on over, check out the new video. I might show up on the Comics Division podcast later. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. But here's a link for that. 6, you got anything coming up you want to plug?
I got nothing.
You got nothing? Script Doctor, you going to be on anything in the near future?
Not sure. I'm just looking at the clock to go to bed in about 20 minutes.
All right. Well, we'll get you out of here so you can go to bed. I think we're going to try and do an A-rated B movie this weekend if you're free. So yeah, stay tuned for that. It's supposed to be awesome, RoboCop.
Yeah.
So yes. So take care of yourselves, everybody. Thank you for the super chats and all the support. I don't think we had any other member chats we missed or anything.
You got one. There you go.
We already got this one here. We got Captain Cat, who said Tom wrote the Debbie Does Dallas series. You're not supposed to tell people about that.
That's impressive because, like, a couple of those movies come out before you were born? Yeah.
Yeah, at least 1 or 2. And this show is sponsored by Rabbit Chicken International, copyright of Mexican Iron Man Industries, Inc. All rights and lefts reserved. That's right. And it was filmed in front of a studio audience. Thank you. Good night, kids.